I hate intros, but if this is your first time seeing me, I'm Blueland Eris. This clip came from my podcast episode last Saturday on the Live from Blueland podcast, where I basically give my thoughts on the whole situation of the Coyotes relocating from Arizona to Salt Lake City, and how you shouldn't blame the fans. And don't roll your eyes at that. I know y'all see what jersey I'm wearing. I can somewhat relate to the situation. I also get into some other things like the future of expansion for both my city and Phoenix against all odds. This ain't just for Yotes fans. This is a listen for all hockey fans. So enjoy and tune into the channel for future episodes. Or don't. I'm not going to quit my day job. So it really started from what I remember, I think on Tuesday. It came out where the news was, and I did a video on this, obviously the one that, 60,000 views now or whatever, where I talked about that the NHL was drafting two different versions of the regular season schedule next year. And that was jarring because that came out of nowhere. And it was that one schedule would just be for the Arizona Coyotes, just how they are now. Just, no funny business, nothing to see here. It's the norm. But it was intriguing because the second one they drafted was for a team as if they were coming out of Salt Lake City, which we all knew what that meant. Basically alluding, like I said in that video, to the fact that if y'all not going to be in Arizona, we got to make a schedule for where you going to be. Salt Lake City, Utah. And it was interesting in this because about a week and a half ago, I want to say, there were news reports that got out. I think Bar Down reported on it, maybe Puck Empire or whatever. But there was sources that reported on it. And Alex Morello, the owner of the Arizona Coyotes, almost called them Phoenix Coyotes, throwback. But Alex Morello was reportedly seeking potential buyers for the team on the low. And that was crazy because you got everything that's going on around that, around this franchise. And the word was getting out that he was seeking potential buyers. Ryan Smith, the owner of the Utah Jazz, owner of Real Salt Lake, he is a part of the ownership group that is now bringing the NHL to Salt Lake City. Like, now we know it's happening. But he obviously, we saw Salt Lake City. I did a video on that as well. And Salt Lake City back in late January put out the expansion request to the NHL to formally open the expansion process for the league. But they stated in their request, man, my city submitted one too, Anton Carter and Alpharetta Sports and Entertainment Group. And we got two ownership groups here trying to bring it here. So I know something about submitting an expansion request in the last couple months. My city did it as well to follow them. But his group and he and his group were very adamant that the Delta Center, where the Utah Jazz currently play, and which has hosted preseason games for the NHL, they were very adamant that it could be an immediate host to a team if necessary. Now, they wanted an expansion team, but that was very intentional because Ryan Smith was like, I would like an expansion team, but I will do this by any means necessary because I would like an NHL team in my city. Full stop. He even said that on the Pat McAfee show. A year ago, I looked up the article again when the news broke of it, and he talked about it. It was a year ago this month. And the article I found, I forgot who it was from, but it was God, how I remember the date. But nonetheless, it was in April of last year when Ryan Smith said the NHL to Salt Lake City, the NHL to Utah is in motion. He did not lie, and he kept a promise to his city and his state. And this is just so crazy because the Coyotes were making all these big promises. Y'all saw it like I did. It was memed to death in the hockey community. The Coyotes made all these grandiose promises and these huge promises to their fans, to their market. Talking with assurance on Twitter. Oh my goodness. And people are digging up old tweets of them promising they weren't going to relocate. And this is just, oh man, it's just, I feel for Yotes fans right now. I don't kick mud on people. I know what it feels like to get my team relocated. I just feel for Yotes fans at this time. And they were talking with assurance and everything, putting out arena renderings on land that they do not own. They had to bid for that in June, almost damn July, and don't even own that land, but making all these grand, like you would think the Coyotes already, that's why some people were confused. They were like, well, damn, I thought they announced a new arena. Y'all, those were renderings for land that they don't even own. And then everything changed. They have swerved their fan base. They have swerved their players. It's tough. Reports came out that relocation was becoming more and more likely from major sources. I know Elliot Friedman reported on it. A number of other sources were like, yeah, it's growing in likelihood. And like, it was a story that changed like with every hour. Y'all, this all changed from Tuesday. It is Saturday. It's early Saturday afternoon here in Atlanta. If it's Pacific time when I'm recording this, it's morning for y'all. Actually, Central and everybody else, it's morning for y'all. It's just barely past the morning for me. This story changed every single hour from Tuesday to now. Like, it happened that fast. And if you rep this, if you're not watching this on the podcast, I'm flexing my jersey. You can imagine I've got the Thrashers jersey on, the baby blue. If you rep this jersey and you rep this city and you love to this team, oh man, where have we seen this before? A team getting moved overnight because of countless blunders that don't fall on fans. After promises, oh, we're not going to be leaving. Hell, from the league. Oh, we don't think they'll be relocating, and then you're gone. Where have we seen this before? I'm still jarred. I went to sleep last night. I slept good. I did sleep. I slept good. I take melatonin right now. I got to get my sleep in order. I got some pretty big opportunities in my professional life and things going well at work. I got to get my sleep right. So I took melatonin, but that was the only reason I slept well. Up until then, I was pacing in my room, like looking at all the news, my phone blowing up. My phone is blowing up. And I mean, this is crazy. There was a report, I think, from Puck Empire that even said that players apparently were reported not being that excited about having to leave Arizona for Utah. And I don't think they have anything against Salt Lake City. I mean, maybe some do, but I think that, they planted their feet in Arizona, and now you have to get up and move. You think it's tough for players to get traded? A whole damn team got to move now. An organization has to move. Yeah, just very jarring. So last night players were informed that the team will be moving. The deal still has to be finalized. Ryan Smith is going to own this team. The SEG group is going to be owning this team. They've got to finalize, get the lawyers to sign off on all this stuff, the business aspect of stuff. But if that was announced to players, this thing is done. After the reporters were saying, guys, it all changed quickly, but it's 95% likely, and then it happened. It's happened now. The Arizona Coyotes have ceased to exist. They have made a transition, and it will be to Salt Lake City, Utah, and it will be under a new name. They will not be the Coyotes. There are Coyotes in Utah. There's Coyotes in Atlanta, which is crazy because it's like we're always jarred that there's Coyotes out here. But they're gonna, Ryan Smith put out something earlier this week to Salt Lake City where he talked about he put out a poll to his city. Or not a poll. I think you had to write in the name, but he put out something to the residents of Salt Lake City. Like, if you were gonna name Utah's NHL team, what would you name it? And this is a man. You're allowed to put out stuff like that if you're a prospective owner, like you're trying to go after a team. I mean, I get it. I feel like somebody. I don't want to say Vernon Krause did that. He did not. I don't think they did that, but somebody in Atlanta did that because they were trying to field what it would be, and Thrashers won. There was multiple that came out, and Thrashers won so dominantly. People love the Thrashers brand. They hated the Atlanta Spirit ownership group, but we don't have fans, and we hate the sport. I'll continue to let a number of Canadians and other northern markets run with that narrative because my city better than I know it, of course. But yeah, he put that out, feeling that out. But to me, with the NHL not really saying nothing at this point, they knew that they were going to move. They've been quiet this whole damn time. No formal word. I ain't heard nothing from Bettman or Daly. Y'all need to tell me if I missed something. But he put that out there because he knew he got the team. And now we all know. This was out on ESPN last night. Everything. This shook sports headlines last night. The deal's got to be finalized, but we've come to terms with it. It is over. The Arizona Coyotes, they are relocated, and they will no longer be the Arizona Coyotes anymore. So it's unfortunate what's happened to the Coyotes, and I know a number of sports fans. Y'all see it. Y'all feel what I'm saying. That's why I brought up the other relocations too, and y'all see what they're going through. I see it in my comments. Y'all commented under my video now, and I stand with y'all. I don't want this to seem like I'm rejecting Salt Lake City fans. I am not. Now, I will say, Utah fans, there's been a number of things that have come out about y'all conduct at Jazz games in the last couple of years that don't make y'all my favorite market at all. I'm just going to be completely real with y'all. Don't piss me off. But, and I don't want Coyotes fans to think I'm being insensitive, especially, I know y'all won't after that passionate, I get passionate about this stuff. I love y'all. But Coyotes fans, I don't want y'all to think that I'm just, well, time to switch gears. That's not what I'm doing. But y'all have to understand, Utah did just get a team, and there are a lot of hockey fans there. There are. I have to welcome a new city into the league. I can give you all my empathy and condolences, and I'm not done. I'm gonna dedicate a whole video this week to the Coyotes and me giving them this send off. Their last game is on Thursday against the Oilers. Stay tuned. But I have to welcome Salt Lake City into the league because they are now a part of the NHL. So I'm an NHL content creator and I'm growing fast. I have to. I have to. So I don't want people to think I'm rejecting Salt Lake City fans either. Welcome to the NHL. But as many Salt Lake City fans have said across social media, I've seen them. They talk to me. They DM me. They in my comments. I'm talking to them. We were excited to get a team. We preferred expansion because we didn't want to get it this way and screw another city out of their team. We did not want to get it this way. One thing that's going on with expansion that I wanted to talk about was Phoenix in the future. We could see Phoenix literally come back to expansion. That is going to put some people's jaws on the floor if you glad that they got moved, which makes you the devil. But if you glad that they got moved and you're just shocked to hear that. But a number of, especially Elliot Friedman, is like, listen, they're going to go back. And they will. Like, I think people need to stop saying that. Like, people will be like, oh, they're never going back to Atlanta. Dude, you think by 2060 even that they're not going to be back in Atlanta? I'm going to be a 60-year-old man, and I'm going to be at the games with my grandkids and happy. Like, you really think they're never coming back? That big city. Like, it's illogical to say never. Because never expands way beyond the short term that you think about. So obviously they're going to go back to Phoenix one day. But yeah, it might happen sooner than they think. You know, sources are saying that there could have been a possible agreement with Alex Morello where it was a Cleveland Browns. And y'all know who my favorite football team is. It's the only non-Atlanta team that I support. The Baltimore Ravens. I grew up a Ravens fan. I loved Ray Lewis and I stuck around. They piss me off regularly, but they also give me great joy. So, I mean, anyway. But it could be like that. The Cleveland Browns moved to Baltimore to become my Ravens. And then we're given a team. They held on to the Browns' history and the name and the rights and all that. And then the Browns were reactivated when they really were the Ravens. But, you know, that situation works. So it's kind of like, it's not quite. But, you know, they left Minnesota. The North Stars went to Dallas. They went back to Minnesota. Like, different. It's not the, you know, but it's along the lines of that. That's in the same realm. NBA, Charlotte Hornets go to New Orleans. They put a team back in Charlotte. It's the Bobcats. Like, not even that many years later. Like, I'm saying this could be along the realms of that. Where Alex Morello, if he still bids for that land in June and wins it, and they develop it, and they've got an arena for the NHL to come back to, y'all, I'm just saying, they could land an expansion team, and they likely will. If this league's going to go to 36, let's be real. We know who 33 and 34 are. They taking meetings with them and all that. Let's be real. Houston and Atlanta, who knows the order? They got to go to 36 to get the divisions at 9-9-9-9. Then they'll stop. I do think they will stop. I know people are like, how many teams are going to have 60? I even made a joke about that. But they will stop at 36. You got to be thinking that the other city that they're going to do is go back to Phoenix, and then they'll do one Eastern one, Cincinnati, Quebec City, something like that. So I'm just saying, it actually lines up for something like that to happen. So yeah, so I mean, expansion. Listen, so my theory a year ago was that the NHL would relocate. I was like, oh, they're never going to relocate the Coyotes, but I guess if they did, they would relocate them to Salt Lake City, and then I guess if you're going to do expansion, they do Houston and Atlanta. Easy, simple, solved. Even as much as people were scoffing at Atlanta, I was like, oh, well, this is easy. They come back here and right or wrong. That was y'all who screwed up, not us. And then a number of things changed, and then I had to change, but I changed my predictions and stuff and my theories, and we all did based on information we were presented. So, but it kind of is getting back to what I thought. They did relocate to Salt Lake City, and Houston and Atlanta are next up for expansion teams. They will get the next crop of expansion. And now I understand that we will go to 36 teams. So, listen, a lot has changed. Boy, a lot has changed. A ton has changed. This is actually insane.